Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true, you're a pal and a confidant. And if you threw a party and invited everyone that you knew, you would see the biggest gift would be from me. And the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend.
We are the ones who don't know what we're fighting for. Give us a gun and send us all off to war. We are the ones who grow up in violent homes. We are the ones who don't know what's right or wrong. I know. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No more. We are the ones who don't know why we're losing score. Give them a badge so they could send us to the morgue. Yeah, we are the ones who are scared to walk out the door. We are the ones who don't know what we're dying for. I know. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck now. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No. Get off his fucking neck. Love that makes you know he can't fucking breathe. Love that makes you know We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck now. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest episode of I'm No Joke, your home for all things combat sports. and the place where every armchair quarterback can feel like Eddie Bravo. The views and opinions presented on the I'm No Joe channel belong solely to the person expressing them, no one else. If we say it, that means we meant it. That being said, this show does contain adult themes, adult content, and general shit that you shouldn't be letting your kids intake. Be advised, viewer discretion is recommended. Proceed at your own risk. You've been warned. If it's Friday, you're probably wondering what the hell we're doing. Well, it's the last weekend of the year for combat sports. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Latest episode of the I'm No Joe podcast, a show where every armchair quarterback can feel like Eddie Bravo. Today, as like most days, I've got a glorious panel here with me to break down all these shenanigans, get into all these shit talking, the fight announcements, and the fuckery that has shaken down the MMA pipeline since we saw you wonderful folks last. So before we get into all that, first and foremost, gentlemen, how the hell are you doing over there?
Doing absolutely fucking fantastic. It's Friday. Kicked whatever fucking cold I had. Had a great last weekend. Kind of weird doing this on a Friday, but hey, you know what? What will be, will be. So here we are.
Right. How you doing over
Yeah,
there,
I've
Christian?
been doing pretty good myself, man. Yeah, first home grow, get to trim that shit up tomorrow. Work's been going good. I mean, we get some fucking, hopefully, really good fights tomorrow, not just decent fights.
Right.
Hopefully, it goes our way for fight fans too, right? Tony
Yes.
Ferguson gets a win. Fucking Colby Covington gets knocked the fuck out.
Yeah,
Good
there's
shit.
a lot. There's a lot to be excited about for our last pay-per-view of the year. That's for sure. So, as we like to do around here, kick things off. We will start with a little bit of news and recent events, fight announcements that have been confirmed, rumors that have been solidified, people who have fucked up, and those who have gotten retribution and vindication in some senses. So we'll go over it here. Not a whole lot, but pretty interesting news rundown. First and foremost, the top two right off the bat directly impact what we're going to talk about later on and the thing that's happening tomorrow, UFC 296. First and foremost, we found out this afternoon that Randy Brown has fallen ill, so his fight versus Muslim Salikov is officially off the card. We heard some rumors throughout the week, but we did get official confirmation as of yesterday that Ian Machado Gary does have full-blown pneumonia, and his fight with Vicente Luque is officially off the card for tomorrow as well, which sucks on both points. No word on if they tried to fight anyone for Muslim. I don't know that they would have had time to, but no word on if they did or not. Kevin Holland, to his credit, tried to jump in and fight Vicente Luque on like 24 hours notice, but it doesn't seem like the UFC was ready to go for it, so they didn't bring him in, unfortunately, which could have been a cool makeup fight in my opinion. Kind of a mixed bag here. The California State Athletic Commission has officially licensed bare knuckle and power slap, both for the 2024 calendar year. Both promotion, BKFC and Dana is talking about all of the fun potential events they can have in California next year, because it seems like the UFC has basically packaged power slap and pay-per-view events for the 2024 calendar. Several of the foregoing emails to potential locations, I guess would be the word, venues, events, arenas, basically places where the UFC could put on a show, that have been getting emails about potential events for the UFC coming, have all basically included that if the UFC comes, there will be a corresponding power slap on that Friday night. And it's kind of a non-negotiable package deal, which is fucking infuriating. And it seems like California, which is one of the few states I had hope might actually fucking hold out against this bullshit, has fucking turned over. I get on the bare knuckle side of things where they want to get that money in there, because there is some legit bare knuckle boxing happening and there is some big money to be made in that. But this power slap shit getting licensed is just fucking infuriating. And especially if it's because they are actually forcing these people to fucking package the deal, like some of the emails we have seen floating around are saying. that's extra fucking infuriating. So we'll see how this plays out. I do think there is some fun bare knuckle events to be potentially in California, but fucking hell, man. Now, in terms of fight announcements, we have got some pretty fucking interesting ones here. The first one, February 3rd, it's going to be an Apex card. We don't know which UFC Vegas number it's going to be yet because they've still got to line those out. But a very interesting fight, and one that I hadn't even heard anything about rumor-wise. Drew Dober stepping back in against the money man himself, Renato Moicano. I literally heard nothing about this fucking fight even being a potential anywhere, but I am fucking down for it. That has got all kinds of potential fun lined up all over it. I think that could be a very interesting fight. I have a feeling they're probably trying to make that a main event. It just isn't confirmed yet because that February 3rd is still a very bare bones card to say the least right now. But I wouldn't be surprised at that main event. I wouldn't be mad at it for damn sure unless they got something a lot better lined up for a fight night. Now, in terms of big pay-per-view announcements, we got a couple of them here. The first group that we got was a trio for the February 17th UFC 298 pay-per-view out in Anaheim, California, which is most likely why the bare knuckle and power slap bullshit got sanctioned now so they can line up their fucking nonsense to go with it. But that being said, the actual fights that are going to happen, the first one here on the ladies' side of things kind of feels almost like pushing for the sake of pushing. Tatiana Suarez versus Amanda Lemos. They've been chomping at the bit to get Tatiana into a fucking title shot. This feels like their excuse that they're going to use when she walks through Lemos, like she probably fucking will, but we'll see. The other one that's kind of interesting here, Henry Cejudo stepping back into the cage, taking on Merab Dvalishvili. So Merab is officially content to never fight for the fucking title at 35 and is willing to fight all the number one contenders at this point, which I don't agree with. But at the same time, if it means that we get to see Henry shut the fuck up and maybe sent back to his hole, give me a fuzzy fucking hat, dude. Go Merab.
I think it's a tune-up fight. So for Merab to take title, since we know that his buddy, shitbag McGee, that's all I'm going to call him, is leaving that division.
Heading out, yeah.
Heading north. So I think it's just a tune-up fight to get him ready to go fight for the title. I think that's it.
Which, at the same time, if, you know, the dipshit is going to move on up and really give up on 35 altogether that fucking easily, that's the way that it should be going, because Merab has been the number one contender for the majority of his fucking run. And now that he's not running the show anymore, no reason for Merab to be sitting on the fucking sidelines anymore, in my opinion. Get that man in the title picture. And if it means going through Cejudo.
The other part of that is I think it is a next one up fight. Whoever wins that takes on the winner of Cheeto and fucking Clown McGee.
Right. If Sean Strickland doesn't do it first.
He might slap the fucking color out of his.
That press conference was spectacular. If you haven't seen that yet,
yes,
Sean went after fucking O'Malley, and I loved it. And he was totally rooting for fucking Cheeto too. So
he is not the champion we wanted, but he is definitely the champion we needed.
That's right. That's right. Strickland occasionally spouts gold, and that was one of them. But the third announcement for that 298 Anaheim card, the one that I'm kind of more excited about of the three of them, Marcin Tybura versus Tai Tuivasa, getting Tai back in the fucking mix. Tybura was a fucking number one contender for a hot minute there. He's still a perennial name in the top 10. Tai could easily roll over him and get some momentum going and head right back in the fucking top direction like we all want to see him go. Now, that being said, they also gave us a pair of very juicy announcements for the March 9th UFC 299 pay-per-view as well. These two, I think, might actually be better than all three of the 298 announcements. Matej Gamrot stepping in against RDA, Rafael dos Anjos. That's a spectacular fucking fight, and I am abso-fucking-lutely here for that one. And then the heavyweight contest that goes with that announcement, Jailton Almeida versus Curtis Blades. That's essentially number one contender outside of that fucking interim situation they have going on right now. That's going to be a great fucking pair of matchups added to that 299 card. So the last couple pieces I got here in news to run these through real quick are, it's what I mentioned earlier. There's a little comeuppance and a little bit of vindication, so to speak. The first one, Miles Johns has officially been handed down a 4.5-month sentence for his M3 metabolite test. But the weird thing about Miles Johns' suspension is that he gets to keep his win against Dan Argueta, which I don't understand. But as part of that, he's now on the John Jones program of you must pulse lower than previous pulses and all that bullshit because he's got the M3 metabolite in his system, which we know doesn't mean he's taking steroids now, but does confirm that at some point he took fucking steroids. Not happy with how they're doing that, but they have redone how they're categorizing and punishing the M3 metabolites because of all this pulsing bullshit that they have discovered. So the other one that I want to talk about real quick is D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez. He has officially been fully vindicated. His supplements were in fact tainted with ostarine and the other supplement or the other chemical that he was tested positive for. So his sentence has been reduced to 3 months retroactively, which means as of the first of the year, he is officially back to good, ready to fight again. And they are, according to D-Rod, already trying to put together a quick fight to turn around and get right back on the horse in 2024. So it's nice for once in a fucking while for somebody to say, look, I'm clean. This is from my fucking supplements, and then get the supplements tested and it verified. Now, the bad part is that this was still another one of those situations where he wasn't taking all of the free supplements that the UFC fucking gives him. And that's how we got in this boat. But I bet you he does now. That being said, unfortunately, we end this week's news the way we have ended every single fucking week's news all year long, and reminding everyone that we have now made it almost an entire fucking calendar year, and Dana White has not had to face any real world repercussions for openly slapping his wife down in Cabo last New Year's. And it's fucking annoying to have to keep saying it, but it's also fucking annoying to live in a world where someone like that can do shit like that and not get any fucking punishment for it. So that being said, either you gentlemen have anything news related that I might have missed this week?
Nope, just stuff that I will bring up later in the show. Gotta have some fire.
Gotcha. Well, that means that that would be the point now here where if you've been watching MMA as long as some of us have been watching MMA, you inadvertently develop a set of blinders. You learn what you like, when it comes on, where to find it, how often it's on, and you sometimes can lose the forest for the trees. And luckily for us here on the I'm No Joe podcast, we have ourselves a young person who can just get out there and finger the pulse of the MMA world and keep us abreast of all the names that are going to be names before they actually are names in a little segment that we like to call Slows, Cans, and Contenders.
Appreciate you, brother. So start out as always with the cans here. I got both of the ladies' fights. I'm tossing them in the can. O'Neal versus Lipsky. I can't stand either one of them. I don't think either one of them are that talented, and the fight's probably going to be boring as shit. I think didn't O'Neal just test positive for something herself and get some sort of suspension? I think she was suspended for 6 months or something by the commission. Could be wrong. Could be thinking of somebody else. I think Casey.
Not 100% positive. I mean, she did just fight in March, so it could have been somewhere in between there. Because she had that loss to Jennifer Maya back in March.
Yep. But I just don't think that fight's going to be worth a damn. And then Aldana versus Rosa, I think it's even worse. You know, Aldana just got her ass whooped back this summer by Amanda Nunes. And Carol Rosa has always been back and forth, even if she's still young. I just don't think this fight's going to be entertaining at all. Not to really try to like seem sexist this weekend, but I just really think that these fights aren't worth much. Like Aldana and Rosa, I think they're both ranked and shit too, but to me, the winner doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't mean much. You know, they just feel like pointless fights, and I don't think they're going to be very entertaining. In the same way I feel about a light heavyweight bout, Alonzo Menifield versus Dustin Jacoby. I feel like both of these guys are middle of the pack fighters, don't deserve a ranking behind them at all, even if they like keep pulling together some wins or something like that. They're just middle of the pack dudes. They have some ability to get finishes and shit, but since they've been in the UFC, they just lackluster. I think them fighting each other might be a complete stall out. Might be one of those sleeper fights where both of them are just kind of hugging on each other and slapping each other around like walruses, like we like to say. Then I got Cody Garbrandt, Andre Philly. Throwing them in the trash too. Think Cody Garbrandt should have retired a bit ago. Even if he got a win in his last fight against Trevin Giles, I think he's going to have a real tough time against Brian Kelleher. Kelleher's on the older side of shit, but he's really fucking well rounded. Cody Garbrandt's shown he's got that weak chin. Kelleher can get him on the ground, submit him just as easy as he can fucking put his lights out. I think Garbrandt's going to have a tough time. And Andre Feely, Lucas Almeida's a young kid with a lot of finishes. It might be a real tough time for him, too. And he's always just been back and forth. He's another middle of the pack fucking fighter. It's just, in my opinion, lucky to still be in the UFC. We'll see how it goes for him. But throwing all that shit in the can for my contenders, I got a couple of fights. I was going to throw that damn Luke A versus Gary fight in there. Obviously, he and Gary got the pneumonia and shit out this weekend. Sad. It would have been another fucking contender fight if they would have put Kevin Holland in there. I thought Luke A versus Kevin Holland, that would have been fun as hell, too. It is what it is. Shit happens a lot. But for fights, I got Martin Budai versus Shamil Gaziev. I think that's going to be a fun fucking heavyweight fight. Martin Budai has been undefeated so far, 4 fights in the UFC. Gaziev making his debut, but the dude's undefeated as well, 11-0. Looks absolutely fucking insane. On the contender series, we love to see heavyweights go out there, fucking get finishes, try to kill each other instead of just slap each other like walruses. I think this is going to be one of those exciting heavyweight fights this weekend. And then the last fight that I can say, that's still happening, Shavkat versus Wonder Boy. Like Wonder Boy versus Kevin Holland was one of the fights of the year last year. The Wonder Boy versus Shavkat, if Wonder Boy goes out there and is like on point or shit, even if he wins, like if he somehow wins against this undefeated phenom of a fucking young kid, Shavkat, we know we're in for a fight of the year with that one. So I got to throw that in the contender spot. You got the young kid that I just talked about a second ago, Lucas Almeida. When I touched on Andre Philly going in the can spot, I'm throwing Lucas Almeida in the contender spot. He's 1-1 in the UFC so far, but I feel like the kid's still got a lot of potential. Literally finished every single one of his wins, 14-2 record. So we'll see how he does. A lot of knockout potential as well. Think he's going to clip Feely. He'll put himself in a better spot, give him a chance to have some potential in the future of the UFC. And Bryce Mitchell, I got to throw him in the contender spot. He says a lot of stupid shit. He's got a lot of stupid views. He's a country boy, grew up on the farm with my dad and my grandpa and shit myself. I root for country boys. That's about all I can say. And the kid's got some talent. Josh Emmett's getting towards the end of his fucking career, but he's still up there in the rankings. So Bryce Mitchell will come in on short notice and find a way to win against Josh Emmett. Even if the dude's getting older, it's still going to throw him up near the top 5 and make him a true contender in that featherweight division at this point. So, because Gary's fucking out, that's all I got for the contenders. Love to hear what you boys got, though. Your cans and contenders for this fucking final card of the year. In and out 2023 on a bang, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. As far as the women's fights are concerned, neither one of them are needle movers for me. Reno Donna got gifted a fucking title shot, and I say gifted because it was fucking gifted to her. There was no earning in that one. And Carol Rosa is hot and cold at best. And as far as Casey O'Neill and fucking Ariane Lipsky, The only thing they're doing is providing lip service. That's it. But now, as far as an actual fucking cans, I have to 100% agree. Cody Garbrandt is on that fucking list. Andre Feely. I hope Lucas Almeida knocks the tattoo off Andre Feely's throat, because that dude should have been out of the UFC a long fucking time ago. There was a very small window where Andre Feely looked like he had some potential, and then we realized that was all just a facade. So it was kind of the whole John Cena thing. You can't really actually see me, and now that you do see him, useless as tits on a bull. Get him out of here. Now, as far as the contenders, I am actually gonna say something that is probably going to fucking piss a lot of people off, and that's all right. But this fight as a whole, for me, Tony Ferguson and Paddy Pimblett. Depending on how this goes, one of these guys is getting shot back up. Or Paddy's going to continue his rise, and Tony will get his shit back together. But that's why I'm calling this a contender fight as a whole. And it's not because the fight is interesting. I don't think it's that interesting, to be honest. You're going to see that Tony, all he did was get some extra cardio training, and Paddy's going to Paddy. That's all there is fucking to that. There's not a whole lot more, but in all honesty, the fight of the night is probably going to be Shavkat Rachmanov and fucking Stephen Thompson, Wonder Boy. That right there has the potential to be fight of the year. However, we know Rachmanov does have a ground game where Thompson does not like the ground. He can get up, but he does not like the ground. If it stays on the feet, you're looking at contention of fight of the year, possibly. But no, as far as just a single fucking contender on here, I'm gonna go on that Martin Buday side of the fucking house from Slovakia. He's getting gifted somebody to style on that's gonna have his first fight in the UFC. He's already ranked number 15 in the fucking heavyweight division. So if he fucking screws the pooch on this one, he's gonna be in a whole world of hurt. And for Shamil, that's a huge fucking task to come in and take on a guy ranked number 15 in the UFC. In the fucking heavyweight division, no doubt. So it'll be an interesting night. I would touch on the other fights that are on here, but we'll touch on those later.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think you boys covered the vast majority of it here. I think the only thing that I would really add, I know everybody likes it. I would throw the Josh Emmett, Bryce Mitchell entire fight in the fucking can, because it doesn't mean anything at this point. If they would have made this, like, not that this fight doesn't mean anything altogether, it doesn't mean anything right now. If they would have made this fight as a rebooking when, the first fight night, if they would have made this the main event for the first fight night of 2024 in, 6 weeks or whatever the fuck it is, this would have been a great fight. On this pay-per-view card, it doesn't really mean much. It's taking the place of a fight that was already going to be a meh kind of fight with potential for fun, but the fact that they slid it right into the main card for me, that's not where that fight belongs, in my opinion. It should be on the prelims. The fact that they snuck it into the main card, people have to pay to watch what could be a very terrible fight between those two. Could be fun, but in my opinion, has much more likely to be a bad fight between those two just because of the stylistic matchup and Bryce being fucking crazy. I'm trashing that whole fight. I do think, though, the People's Co-Main, the featured main card bout, as they're now calling it on the UFC website, between Shavkat and Wonder Boy, while it's getting a lot talked about, it's not getting enough actual attention. It's, in my opinion, it's getting talked about because of the implications, but this still has all of the potential to be a fucking amazing fight. Whole fight in the contender segment for me, because no matter how this plays out, if Shavkat actually holds to his word and keeps it on his feet, we could have the next evolution of what Kevin Holland versus Wonder Boy was, and that was fun as shit. This could be the next iteration of that even further. And if it turns out he was blowing smoke up Wonder Boy's ass in 3 seconds of the fight, he puts Wonder Boy on the ground and then he's in trouble, that could make it all kinds of fun as well. So, and then implications for that one, same way. Wonder Boy wins, he's back in line for a title shot. Shavkat beats Wonder Boy, he could make an argument to get a title shot for it. So either way that fight goes and either way that fight ends, for me, it's just all fucking thumbs up on that one.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with both of you. I think that one's going to be a potential fight of the year, just like TJ said. I'm fucking excited as shit for it. It was one of the best fights of the year when Wonder Boy fought Kevin Holland last year. Shavkat's fucking, I feel like a hell of a lot better than Kevin Holland, even if I love Big Mouth. So this has the potential to be a hell of a lot more exciting if Wonder Boy is just as fucking on point as he was last year. And then I also got to agree with TJ on the Pimblett and Ferguson fight, because one of them is going to get popped back up a little bit, but I would like to see Ferguson win, man. Like that's to me that those are the two dreams, like the happiest points of the weekend for me as a fight fan. If Tony Ferguson comes out with a win and we see Colby Covington get laid the fuck out on the canvas.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I loved it. Both of you boys had some great fucking points. Appreciate you guys throwing in there. That's all I got.
Thank you very much, sir. Much appreciated. So this is a point in most podcasts where you get some bullshit B-roll fucking ad for some product that nobody on the show actually uses from a company that doesn't have anything to do with the podcast itself. And we don't fucking play that game around here. The I'm No Joe podcast is sponsored by viewers like you. Patreon.com/I'm No Joe. For as little as $1 a month, you get your name at the end of every single broadcast on this channel as a thank you, as well as access to unaired and literally unairable content, things that we just legally cannot put out to the general public because it has to be age gated. Fuck you, OnlyFans. That being said, though, if you don't want to throw a buck, you ain't got to throw a buck. We do this for free just about every week. There's something to talk about, just the same, all video format. YouTube.com/I'm No Joe. The week later, in all audio format, Anchor.fm/I'm No Joe. You could pick either one of those up for free, just the same. But if you got a buck, give a buck. Why not? It's fun and it helps us do what we do. That being said, that brings us to the only segment here on the show that requires its own individual disclaimer. Tapology.com does not in any way, shape, or form support, sponsor, or endorse the I'm No Joe podcast. Yet. That being said, Tapology.com does offer you the option to go onto their site, create a free account, and join groups of like-minded individuals making fantasy-style picks about MMA fights. We created a group. It's called I'm No Bookie, all one word, or Group 965. However you need to find it, it is open to the public. You are welcome and encouraged to come on, make yourself an account, join the group, and let us know who the hell you are so we can hold you accountable like we do to ourselves in a little segment we call Tapology with TJ.
Thank you. Oh, we're gonna jump right into this, and I'm gonna go to last week's card first before we start talking about some odds for this week. Because to be honest, this week's odds, not a whole lot to talk about, but there is a couple things that I do want to touch on. So going back to last week's card, Song versus Gutierrez. Let me tell you what. Overall, the card itself turned out to be a lot better than what I thought it was going to be. As far as the fighters showed up, it was fantastic. Not a whole lot of decisions or anything like that. But going into the wonderful thing that is our scores, everybody but one pulled their head out of their ass this week. Got back on the side north of 500%. Just fucking, or north of 50%. They were batting over 500. Everybody but one. Now, coming in top spot, retaining the title another fucking week, Donna. Coming in and fucking just mass murdering everybody with fucking 8 right, 565 points. Just funny because there's a couple people in our group that we don't talk about because we don't know them, that she had less picks correct, but she was knocking those fucking perfects and goddamn semi-perfects out of the fucking park this week, and a couple of decisions really boosted her fucking score. Oh, if you didn't know, Donna doesn't actually have a dishwasher problem. Because her dishwasher likes to continue to wash dishes every fucking week. I would be talking about Don. Don gets the fucking wonderful pleasure this week of again tripping over his dick. However, he's not tripping over it this time. He wasn't done playing double dutch, so he tied that shit in a bow and he's swinging it around twice. That's what's going on here. Don, you're the only man who did not get above 500, man or woman. Let me correct that. That didn't get above 500 this week. Let's get it together for the pay-per-view, Don. You got this. Seriously, though, you may want to apologize to your dick, because I'm sure it's hurting at this fucking point. Now, with all that being said, everybody else on the card from top to bottom in our group, exactly 7 right. So it could have gone either way, unfortunately. We still would have all lost to fucking Donna, because, well, she is like a fucking, I don't know whether to call it just blind luck or an idiot savant. One of the two. Either way, somebody's got to fix that problem. We got to not let her win this week. So anybody who is in the group or wants to join Tapology, I'm no bookie, group 965, please join us. We need more hands in defeating Donna. Because, look, we're only getting it done once in a while, and for the most part, she's ran the tables all fucking year long. I can go, I want to go back and tally it.
Lately, it's starting to feel like she just waits for Don to make all his picks and then chooses the opposite.
Yeah, pretty much sometimes that's what it feels like, because, man, it's ridiculous. But hey, we'll get there. But yeah, like I was saying, please join the group. I'm no bookie, group 965 over on Tapology. It's free to join. There's no fees. Let us know who you are. We'll tell you when you do good, and we'll definitely tell you when you do shitty. I even call myself out when I do shitty, so you're not going to be the only one who gets that treatment. Everybody gets it equally around here. Now, with all that being said, if you are joining the group, you need to do it in the next, 15 hours and get your picks in. So, by all means, feel free to join us. We're here for it. Otherwise, you got to wait until next year, which also reminds me, there's one other thing I do want to talk about in our group. There's a small selected group of us, of 5 right now. Well, 4, excuse me, that have fucking done our own little fall Grand Prix, which had a total of, I think it is, 8 or 9 events?
I think it was 9 events. I think it was 4, or 5 events and then 4 as a quote unquote playoff run kind of deal, like final segment stretch.
Yeah. So right now, as it stands, it is still anybody's ball game this weekend. Now, to be anybody's ball game, I have to really shit the bed. I'm gonna say that. If there's one I might not take top spot every week, but I'm usually pretty fucking solid on my picks. So I'm sitting in top spot right now with 3,615 points. Meter himself, aka Joe Rogan's hairline, if you see him on Tapology, 3,100. Christian coming in at 3,050. And Vindog, the booty hog, sitting there at 2,645. Anybody can take this event this weekend. Depending on how your picks go, you pick all the perfect picks, you might jump to that top spot. And you better pray to God that I'm tripping over my dick, boys, because I have a feeling this might be the one where I have a little more bragging rights because it tells me I've been doing better overall. I might not win the event.
The real problem with our private event is that Christian and I have had the same number of correct picks for 3 fucking weeks now. We've picked the same amount correct 3 weeks in a row. So the number of correct picks hasn't fucking changed. The ratio hasn't changed for either of us. It's just that I got one of them was a perfect and he got one of them as like a semi-perfect. So that's the only reason I've got like 50 points above him right now.
Kind of a weird flex on my part here, and I'm gonna flex it. In all of the events, I've only made 94 picks. You guys have made 106. So just saying. Imagine if I would have had those extra 12 picks in there. Shit would have been
Imagine
wild.
if I wouldn't have tripped over my dick that week.
All right. So that's enough of Tapology. We're gonna move on. We're gonna talk some a few odds here. Like I said, I'm not gonna go over all of them because for the most part, as seems to be the case for the last fucking like 8 months now. Since fuckery was afoot, the odds have been pretty boring. In fact, from top to bottom, it's mostly coin flips. So there's only a couple I'm going to touch on. I'll of course touch on the co-main and the main though. I'm gonna start with the one fight that probably all of us can agree nobody actually wants to watch. Alonzo Menafield and Dustin Jacoby. They got Dustin Jacoby coming in as a minus 300 favorite. Menafield coming in as a plus 240 underdog. And that's coming through BetMGM. So, like I said, I get these from BetMGM. So that's where these odds are sitting. A little wider odds than everywhere else on the card where it's kind of a fucking coin flip. The other one that we want to cover here that's similar in odds on this one is going to be the other one that can either be a take it or leave it fight is what I'll call it. Patty Pimblett and Tony Ferguson. They've got old Patty the Batty coming in at minus 300 as a favorite, and El Kukui coming in as a plus 250 underdog. I don't know that those are exactly right, but we'll see. Granted, I mean, looking at what the odds makers look at, we got to understand that Tony has lost his last 6 fights. His last win was in 2020, 3 years ago. So on the odds maker sides, I understand what they're looking at. But it's still a little bit odd. Everything else, pretty much fucking coin flips, with the exception of one. And this is where we're going to do the top 3 on the card. So, the People's Co-Main Event, I don't care what the fucking UFC calls it. It's the People's Co-Main Event is what it is. Shavkat Rakhmonov and fucking Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Widest odds on the card. They have Rakhmonov coming in as a minus 650 favorite over a plus 425 Wonderboy. I think those odds are a little skewed. I'll say it right now. Wonderboy is dangerous on the fucking feet. I think the odds makers are looking at a guy who's ran through just about everybody because, well, he's fucking undefeated right now. And that says a lot because there is something to say about a guy's mentality when he's undefeated. They think they can
Undefeated
do
with
it.
finishes in every fight too. 17
Yeah.
and 0 with 17 finishes. That's definitely something to be noted for sure.
Yep. So it's notable, but I think they're underplaying the value of Stephen Thompson and how good his karate really fucking is. He's along the lines of Lyoto Machida when it comes to karate. Different style of karate, but he's a fucking expert with it. So take those odds what you will. I'm not saying bet against Rachmanov, but I'm definitely not saying bet against fucking Thompson either. But that is definitely the widest odds on the card. So there you have it. Now, I do want to cover the co-main and main just because, well, co-main and main. And both of them have titles on the line. So the current champ, Alexandre Pantoja, and Brandon Royval. Oh, Raw Dog himself. Coin flip odds. They have Pantoja coming in as a minus 190 favorite over a plus 155 in Royval. I understand the odds there. Royval has looked fucking really good as of late. I think the only reason they're giving Pantoja the nod is because he's the current champ. And to be honest, he deserves that nod. He took out somebody who's held the title for 4 fights in a row there, so good on
He
him.
has a win over Royval already too.
Yep, that's true. Granted, that was a different Royval, so we'll see what happens on Saturday. But like I said, coin flip odds, you can bet that one either way. This is going to be another one of those weekends to make some parlays, though. That's all I'm saying, because there's some really good parlays out there. Now, moving on to the main event, the one that nobody wanted to see, that nobody wanted this matchup as a main event, because if fucking hell aligns, freezes over with the stars, moon, sun, and all that shit, we could have Colby Covington as a champion, and that would be really fucking weird. Like, it's weird having Sean Strickland as a champion, who's a mouthy fucker, but if Colby gets it, oh, be prepared for the fuckery that's afoot in that. I'm not gonna lie, I still want to tune in to see the dumb shit that'll come out of his mouth if he does win, but you know, we're here for it. Now, as far as the odds are concerned, they have a coin flip, a fucking coin flip, and I kind of understand why. They have Leon Rocky Edwards coming in as a minus 160 favorite over a plus 130 in Colby Chaos Covington. I understand this for a reason. Do I think Colby is as good as Leon? No. But what Colby lacks in skill, he more than makes up for in his conditioning and his fucking heart. Because the dude will continue to go until he is put to sleep, and he has a gas tank for days. That's the only thing you can say, whereas we've seen Leon fucking do the thing. But, you know, that is neither here nor there. But as far as the coin flip odds, it makes sense. You're bringing a guy from fucking Europe to the U.S. to fight. That in itself is a pain in the ass. Granted, that's what these fighters get paid to do, so they're kind of used to it, but strange odds across the board. You would figure the champs would have a little wider odds, but especially in the Leon Colby Covington fight. Covington hasn't done shit to deserve a title fight. But you know, who knows? Maybe he'll get his jaw broken again with a fucking feigned punch to a head kick. Just saying, lightning does strike twice. We've seen it happen. So those are the odds we've got for this week. Like I said, coin flips across the board, except for those three in the middle there that I talked about, and the co-main, or the people's co-main, which is the strangest odds on the whole fucking card. So also, one other one I did want to mention in passing, the Bryce Mitchell Josh Emmett. For some odd reason, they have Bryce Mitchell being ranked lower than Josh Emmett, still as the favorite as a minus 225 favorite for Bryce Mitchell over a 185 in Josh Emmett. Strange, but you know, that is what it is. I've got nothing more on the odds. I don't want to talk about them anymore because, to be honest, it's a little depressing that we don't have some wider odds. Either the UFC is doing a great job in matchmaking, or the fucking odds makers are scared. And sometimes the way I look at them make odds, I think they're stupid too. But you know, here we are. What do we know? That's why we're armchair quarterbacks becoming Eddie Bravo. That's what's going on here. But since this is the last one for the year, if you don't join Tapology and hop into I'm No Bookie or Group 965, whichever way you prefer, by the end of the year, please do it by the beginning of next year. You got a couple of weeks. We would love to have you. Love to talk shit about you. Love to praise you when you do well. Let us know who you are. Join us up. It's a good time. Who knows? You might get mentioned in this segment. Calling it beginner's luck because you win your first event.
Thank you very much, sir. Much appreciated. So that being said, real quickly, I do want to give a brief little fight menu, so to speak, for this weekend, being as it is already Friday night and half of literally the events I would have been telling you about have already taken place before we went live tonight. There are still two big ones tomorrow to talk about real quick. Kicking out early at noon Central Standard Time in the US, KSW 89 takes place over there in Poland, and there are I believe three names on this card that the casual fan will even recognize as former UFC fighters. Definitely a couple of interesting matchups on that card for sure. But if that doesn't wet your whistle, and even if it does, it doesn't matter, because kicking off at 5:30 tomorrow afternoon will be the final UFC pay-per-view of the year, UFC 296 Edwards versus Covington. Fuck that guy. That being said, with both of those cards in play tomorrow, this would be the point during the show that if you're watching the live version, even if it's not live version, if you're watching the video version, I should say, over on youtube.com/I'mNoJoe, you will already know by the terrifying GIF that is rolled across the screen. But for those of you listening, this is your cue that we have rolled things over from the friendly, fun atmosphere into the fight time fuckery one-on-one combat course we call the pit. This evening, we have our final pit of the year. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have these two fine fellas go at it over our final pay-per-view card from the UFC. So, gentlemen, as is the case, has been the last few, we go this edition again with closed scoring until should we need to show said score to lead into a fifth round or something like that. But that being said, are you gentlemen ready for the pit? All right. I believe aside from the draw with me, TJ, I think you had the last win, so I will give you the option. Would you like to go first or second, sir?
I'll go second. I'll let the young guy fucking go first. It's nice to be nice to the Amish. That's all I'm saying. They have
All
really good
right.
furniture.
Well, Christian, that means round one starts with you, sir. So for every card, pay-per-views, no less, there is always one fight that just does not get all the love that it deserves. One fight that as soon as they start announcing that walkout, you have to make sure anyone within earshot is over around the TV. The get in here fight, if you will. On this US 96, our final pay-per-view card, which fight is that fight for you, sir?
Me, I'm gonna go with the heavyweights. I think Martin Budai versus Shamil Ghazi. I mean, two heavyweights with a ton of finishing potential, ton of knockout power. Budai's only got the one loss in his career, but he's on a 12 fucking fight winning streak. He's undefeated in the UFC, fought 4 times. Ghazi making his debut look good on the Contender Series. Like TJ said earlier, it's kind of like the UFC's throwing an easy one to Budai, but we don't fully know. Maybe this dude is just fucking the shit, right? Because the UFC's throwing him in a ranked guy, like TJ said. Debut, you're getting the number 15 fucking dude. This could be a fun ass fight. We don't get a lot of them at heavyweight. You get some slap fights, then you get some badass fucking brawls. So this could be one of those. I don't think it's being talked about at all. It's the only fucking heavyweight fight on the card, so had to fucking talk about that one. You know, I feel like People's Co-Main Event's a little low hanging fruit, even though I do love me some Wonder Boy, and like we talked about earlier, I think it's gonna be fight of the year. I think the heavyweights are the fucking little underhyped fight this weekend.
I could definitely see that for sure. They are not getting a lot of love in the media. That's for damn sure. I absolutely agree with that. So that'll bring us across the proverbial octagon here. Back to you, TJ. In every card, there's one fight that just you have to make sure anyone around you is paying attention to, because that's your fight of the night potential anyway. Which fight on this 296 card is that fight for you?
I'm gonna agree with Christian here. The fucking People's Co-Main Event, definitely the lowest hanging fruit on the fucking tree. So we're not gonna use it. However, I'm gonna go a little different direction. I'm not gonna call this the fight of the night, but this is definitely one that, hey, get your ass in here and watch this, because one of two things are gonna happen. Either the old horse is getting taken out the pasture, or the fucking snake in the grass is gonna get exterminated. There's a little bit of fucking animosity here, and so it's worth it. I'm gonna say the Paddy Pimblett Tony Ferguson fight. There's been some animosity building. Some people are worried about who's blocked on Instagram and who is not. There's a good bit of shit talking fuckery at the presser. I think just based on that alone, it's worth the watch just to see what fucking happens. It's kind of like a train wreck. You know it's bad, but you can't look away.
I could definitely agree with that as well. I could definitely see both points here. Both points very well made, sirs. So that will bring us to round two. Round two, Golfy, you will be kicking that one off for us. So if every card has a fight that you have to make sure everyone is paying attention to, that means that inevitably there's also one fight that is being overhyped for no fucking reason here. Which is the overhyped fight of 296 for you, Galti?
The goddamn premier prelim fight. Alonzo Menafield and Dustin Jacoby. The best thing about this fight was Alonzo Menafield's fucking hairdo at the weigh-ins. After that, this is a fucking... Nobody cares. I honestly, this fight could get canceled the night of the fights, and I would be a happy camper. I'd be kind of pissed that I took the time to have to put in a pick for this fight, but it's fucking useless as tits on a bull. Nobody cares about Alonzo Menafield. And who the fuck is Dustin Jacoby?
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that as well. So that'll bring us back across the octagon to you here, Christian. If every card has a fight that you just have to make sure everyone's paying attention to, that means that there's also a fight on the opposite side of that you can just completely ignore, that they are hyping up for no goddamn reason. In your opinion, what is your overhyped fight of 296?
Well, you touched on it a little bit in my segment. I got to go with the Josh Emmett and Bryce Mitchell fight. I mean, I put Bryce in the contender spot because if his ass can look good or get the win, like I was talking to TJ about when he stepped away, and he does get himself closer to the top five. But in all honesty, it's the same thing that TJ just said. I don't think anybody really gives a damn about this fight. It's cool that Bryce stepped up, short notice, fight stays in. You still get a fight, but you touched on it. It doesn't deserve to be moved up to main event status, in my opinion. It belonged where it was in the prelim spot. And shit happens, but still doesn't fucking deserve to be in that spot. It's obviously overhyped. You could wind up being extremely fucking boring, like you said, with the fucking stylistic aspect of it. If Bryce isn't, on point with the striking, he's just going to get laid out by an old dude. It is what it is. Like I'm not that excited about this fight. I really don't think anybody cares about Josh Emmett at this point in his career. He's on the end, and Bryce Mitchell, most people think is just crazy fuck. I support him, like I said, because he's a country boy. That's all he's got for me nowadays. He lost a lot of respect for him over the past couple of years with some of the shit that he said. He's going to say some more crazy shit. I love it when he praises the Lord, but
Yeah, no, I agree. I will say, I heard Bryce Mitchell say probably the single smartest thing I have ever heard come out of his fucking mouth this afternoon. It's on one of the embeddeds. I believe it's number 4 if you want to go back and look at it. He is sitting down in the fighter meeting with Anik and DC and everybody in the room taking notes, just one-on-one. And DC looks at him and he says, "Now, Bryce, I've got to ask you because you've talked about him in the past. Now I'm talking about right now. How do you feel about Josh Emmett that's getting ready to step into the cage with you as he's aging towards the end of his career?" And without missing a fucking beat, Bryce Mitchell said, "DC, I'd love to sit here and tell you that Josh Emmett's old, but then sure enough, my luck, I go out there and get knocked the fuck out, and then how'd I look?" That's about as polite as Bryce Mitchell is going to get. And that's about as educated as he can say. I'd love to say I can beat him, but I know that there's a good chance he could still knock me the fuck out. You don't often get gems like that from Bryce, but when we do, I certainly fucking appreciate him. So there's definitely a good and bad aspect to that fight. Absolutely agree. So that'll bring us to round 3. Back over here to the young man to kick us off. So round 3, we are going to talk about our co-main event, the strap for the flyweight division, 125-pound supremacy. Alexandre Pantoja versus Brandon Royval. How do you think this one plays out, sir?
Well, I still feel like Pantoja, he got a little lucky there. I personally felt like Moreno won that fight they had between them. He won by split decision. It is what it is. it was a good fight. It was competitive. You know, Royval, though, I'm excited for that kid, man. We got to see him here in Kansas City when we were all together, man. Got to see the UFC fights live. Got to see him knock out Mateus Nicolau. That was some fucking fun shit. That was one of the best moments for all of us. I remember all of us fucking hooping and hollering, losing our minds a little bit. That was a good fucking time. I think Brandon Royval's got that ability to get that revenge after losing to Pantoja already. That was his last loss in the UFC. He's been on a winning streak since then. He's looked damn good. Like I said, when getting the finishes, he's got that chance, man. You go out there and potentially lay out Pantoja. We've seen he's a tough ass motherfucker. He can take a lot of damage, but over the years he has taken a lot of damage. And eventually, dudes have a breaking point. So maybe you see that. But I also think we could see a 5-round fucking war between these two. Flyweights are always fucking exciting. I'm more excited for that featured bout, with Wonder Boy and Shavkat. But this is a fun ass fight. I really feel like the last few fights are just going to be fire. It's just going to be all fucking guns blazing. Honestly, if all guys are on point, like even a bit, then nobody shits the bed. These are gonna be fucking fun as hell. And the co-main event with these little motherfucking 125ers, it's gonna be electric.
Hell yeah. No, I absolutely agree. I think it's got potential for fight of the night written all fucking over it. I think this has got all sorts of fun between these two boys. So that'll bring us back across the proverbial octagon, as it were. Golf tee. Co-main event. Pantoja the champion, Raw Dog the challenger. Who takes the belt home and how's it go?
Let's do a little history lesson here real quick. We're going to go all the way back to November 21st, 2020. Brandon Moreno versus Brandon Royval. The Battle of the Brandons. What we thought was going to be a fucking fantastic fight. And at the time, Royval was on a much better tear than fucking Moreno. Albeit Moreno was still on his own tear at the time. That fight ended early because, well, Royval's fucking shoulder fucking decided to go and pop out of place. Now, he's out for, I think, 8 or 9 months or something. His next fight back is against the current champ in Alexander Pantoja. I think there was a little bit of ring rust, a little hesitancy with the fucking shoulder just having popped out. Is it going to happen again? So he goes out, loses via submission. So I think there was a little hesitancy in what was going on. Now, since then, he's been on a 3-fight fucking tear and just decimating people. Submissions, fucking knockouts. I mean, fucking Christian called it. We saw that knockout live in April. And it was fucking glorious. I hope to fucking everything that he's able to do that to Pantoja this weekend. I'm not saying it's going to happen in the first round, but I'm hoping it happens. Now, on the other side of this, if we're going to go back and do a little history lesson, we got to go back to Pantoja. We're going to start where he fought Royval. He has only had 2 fights since then. 2. One in July of 22, and then his last one in July of this year against Moreno, which he controversially won the fucking belt. I'm of the party that I still think Moreno won that, and, well, the judges fucked him without even the courtesy of a reach around or taking him out for dinner first. So, with that being said, I don't think Pantoja is as good as everybody thinks he is. Even a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while. The sun shines on a dog's ass every now and then. There's a bunch of these that I can go on and on with, but we're going to stop at that. So what I'm saying is, I think you get a lucky decision against a Brandon. Luck is no longer on your side. That other Brandon on your other shoulder is about to take the fuck over and take the belt, which for me, I think is the greatest possibility, because then that gives us a chance at the fucking match we all deserve, which is Brandon versus Brandon. Fucking Moreno and goddamn Royval too. That is the fight to make. I hope Pantoja loses his belt, and I think he does. And I think we're going to see Royval fucking knock him out. I do, but I don't think it's going to be early. I think we're looking at third, fourth round. I think he's going to beat the brakes off of him for a couple rounds before he goes down, because Pantoja does have a chin, unfortunately.
No, I agree. Pantoja does absolutely have a chin. He does make himself very hittable though as well. And we've seen Royval go to work first fucking hand, like you boys mentioned. We've seen how good that dude's hands can be live. So I am very interested. That's what I said earlier. I think this has potential to be fight of the night. I'm excited about that Shavkat fight, but I think this fucking flyweight title is definitely going to be one of the best, if not the best fight of the night, in my opinion. So definitely excited for that one. That being said, that'll bring us to round 4. Golf T, you will kick this one off for us here. Round 4, as we like to do. That main event, like you said, it's not the fight that we wanted, but it is the fight that we've got. Leon Edwards as champion, defending against Colby fucking Covington as the challenger. I know how we all want this fight to go, but how do you think it might actually go?
One moment. Let me adjust this. I'm going to play the fucking bad guy here against what everybody fucking wants. Everybody wants Leon to keep this belt. 1, I'm okay with that. But 2, I'm team you fucking SA all fucking day. Now, do I like who would be bringing that back? No. But I'm going to play the bad guy here, so we're going to run with this. If we watch Leon Edwards' last 2 fights, both against Kamaru Usman, he gets worked the fuck out of by Kamaru in the first fight and gets I can't call it luck because he had a beautiful setup for it. But he got lucky. He got the one-hitter quitter. That doesn't happen often, especially not when you're getting worked that bad. He's getting worked like a Hebrew fucking slave. On the second fight, he came back and he knew Kamaru's plan. So yeah, of course he was able to fucking take out the plan because it was the same thing Kamaru tried to do in the first fight. So they already had a plan around it. Here's the difference. He's not fighting Kamaru this time. He's fighting Colby. Colby went toe-to-toe with a broken fucking jaw against fucking Usman and continued to fight. I think if Leon gets his fucking jaw broke, he quits. When your fucking corner has to yell at you to get you to get off the stool to fucking go out and do the fucking job, there's a problem. The gas tank that Colby has will push Leon to the brink of extinction. Leon's gas tank is not as good as Colby's in any way, shape, or form. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. That is the one thing that Colby does have over a lot of fighters in the UFC is a phenomenal fucking gas tank. He might not be the best at everything, but he's fairly decent all around, and he's got a pretty goddamn good, solid wrestling background. So I'm going to say here, I don't think Colby puts Leon away. What I think he does is he gasses him out and takes it via decision at the end. I don't see him putting him out, but I think Colby gets it done via decision in the end. Mark my words, I'm going to make that pick. Check my picks. If I'm fucking lying, remove me from the fucking show. I am going to take that pick and take that money line because I just think that gas tank is going to be enough to push Leon out the fucking door. You don't have to agree with me, but you know what? This is MMA. We can't use MMA math here. To be honest, I hate to say this, and God, it fucking tastes bad coming out of my mouth. I think Colby is tougher than Leon. God damn it. That hurts to say. But Colby will cut hands outside of the fucking octagon and cry like a bitch. But he won't do it while he's in the octagon. So here we are. Unfortunately, I have to say Team USA on this one, not necessarily Team Kobe, but you know. Also, not gonna lie, I did thoroughly enjoy the nice blue coat and calling Leon a red coat during the fucking presser. There's something great about kicking the British out of the fucking USA again.
No, I can definitely see that. I can definitely see that. The press conference was funny. I did love. I had to show my wife the spot where fucking Leon chucked that fucking water bottle and bing Colby right in the fucking face because he was so dumb. He talked shit and then didn't even look at the guy, so he never saw the water bottle coming at his fucking head. That shit made me laugh way harder than it should have, and I was still feeling sick when I watched it, so it wasn't fun, but it was worth it. That being said, back across to you, sir. Christian, we've got Leon, Rocky Edwards, and Colby Chaos Covington stepping into the cage tomorrow evening. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves with the belt. How do you think it plays out, sir?
So, in one sense, I'll agree with Golf T that I see realistically. I'm thinking about this, right? As much as I know how I want things to go, I'm realistically thinking Colby will win by decision, right? I'm not going to pick that on Tapology because I'm not living by that. That's not how I want things to go. I just here's my theory, right? We got told who the judges are going to fucking be for that fight. The UFC is going to have Donald Trump sitting there. We're hearing he might fucking put the belt on Colby. Everything's being set up. We've seen instances that certain shit is kind of rigged. It is the fucking fight game, but if the motherfucker can survive, he's winning by decision. He could get his ass beat in my eyes for 5 rounds. Colby Covington could get absolutely dog walked for 5 rounds. But if he makes it to the fucking 5th bell, they're gonna give him the belt. That's exactly how I look at it. It's gonna be the most rigged motherfucking fight we've ever seen in our lives, or he actually earns it. But I'd be surprised as hell if he actually fucking earns it. The motherfucker ain't worth shit. He's great at talking shit like Conor McGregor, but he's never had a damn lick of talent in my eyes. He's been gifted every fucking thing. The dude's only beaten washed up guys at the end of his fucking career. He fights once a fucking year. Just, I don't like pulling out the MMA math aspect too, but at the end of the day, Kamaru Usman was a better fucking fighter than Colby Covington and proved it multiple times. And Leon proved he's a better fighter than Kamaru. Even if Kamaru is getting towards the end of his fight, he still was seemingly in his prime in that first fight, and he was whooping Leon's ass. And Leon got the fucking, he's Rocky, man. Even if his coaches had to pull him off the stool, he got his ass off the stool, right? He needed the motivation, as TJ said, but motherfucker blew all of our minds. Gave us one of the best moments ever. Cracking Kamaru in the fucking head with a kick out of fucking nowhere. Getting that belt and then beating the dog shit out of him for 5 rounds a second go. Colby's not a striker, man. He proved he can hold people up, right? Colby's got that good defense, but Leon can defend the takedowns. If Colby can't get him down, sniff the dick, like he loves to do, he's in trouble. He's going to get the shit kicked out of him. Like I said, if he makes it to that final bell, I still think he's going to win. But you want to talk shit about a man's father, whether the man was good or not, you're lighting extra fucking fires you probably shouldn't fucking light, especially when you don't have any ability to put anybody's lights out. I think it's going to be a bad time for Colby Covington. And it's going to be a bad time for all of us fucking fight fans if the motherfucker, like Golf T said, that is the one thing I would give him. He is tough. He does have a gas tank. So if he lasts, we're going to be sad as shit this weekend. It's coming back to America in that sense, but I'm going to be crying about it. Just like America could be, in some people's eyes, great again with Donald Trump as president, but I will be crying once again with that as well. Just like I posted for the promo tonight. Fuck Donald Trump and fuck Colby Covington.
Yeah, no, I agree that there is I will say this, as much as I fucking hate Colby, and I'm very open about that. I think he's a fucking scumbag. I don't give a fuck if he's playing a persona or not. The fact that you can play that persona and live with yourself, you're a fucking scumbag down to the core regardless. That being said, he does have the ability to wrestle for 5 solid fucking rounds without missing a beat. The problem for him is that so does Kamaru Usman. And over almost 10 full rounds with Kamaru Usman, Leon Edwards managed to hold him to 4 of 19 takedowns. And I agree, Colby does have a very strong wrestling pedigree, but if that's the only thing that he's got to lean on, and I agree, that's maybe the only thing he's really got to lean on, it's still not a whole lot to feel confident in. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how that one plays out. But I agree, if he somehow weasels his way to the end of that, dick sniffing his whole way through, they're going to have Trump come in and red, white, and blue ticker tape fall from the fucking ceiling, and Brittany Palmer's going to show her titties for the last time as a fucking ring girl since she won MMA Ring Girl of the Year again, and she's retiring. It's cats and dogs living together, pandemonium, I'm saying. So
I wouldn't be mad
that
at that
being said,
last part. I'm just saying.
right.
Yeah.
But that being said, 4 rounds in here, close scoring, but I will bring it up because we now have to go to a 5th round. We are all tied up 2-2. Who'd have thunk it? Going to a 5th and final round, the sudden death elimination round, if you will. Winner takes all. The post-it notes of fate, goddammit. So, TJ, you got to choose who went first for the regular section of this. Christian, I will give you the choice. You can either choose who goes first or choose your fate.
Choose the fate.
All right. So, Golfy, you once again get the choice, sir. Would you like to go first or second?
I'm gonna go first this time. I let him go first when we started.
All right. Well, Christian, that means I need a number from you 1 through 5 to see what you boys are talking about.
Take my lucky number 5.
All righty. That's a good one, too. Who is the main event for UFC 300? Scheduled prospectively in April. Several big fights looming on the wings right now due to all sorts of recent shenanigans. Who do we see slide into main event that glorious 300 UFC card, Golf T?
That's a tough fucking call, man. That really is. Especially with the fights that we already have on the table currently. I mean, in theory, you could see somebody from the main event tonight getting on there, possibly a Rocky Leon Edwards or a Colby Covington if he wins. If he wins, you put Covington on there because he's going to sell tickets. That's all I'm saying. But you got to think, you've got the fucking middleweight strap on the line in Strickland and Duplessis for 297. That's in January. Could one of them make a 3-round turn or a 3-month turnaround? Possibly. The one thing we do know is going to be on that card is Jim fucking Miller, because Dana has already said it himself. Yes, he's already scheduled in fucking another fight, but he's like, he will be on 300, barring he doesn't fucking have a medical suspension, which I'm sure they'll figure out a way around, even if he does.
I'm sure, yeah.
And then you've already got fucking Volkanovski and 298 in fucking February. There's no way he's going to be able to make that card. So now, that leaves you with a lot of fucking champs out there because you're not going to headline it with some no fucking champ. And as much as I fucking hate to say this, there is a possibility, a slight possibility that you could see Connor somehow weasel his fucking way into that. I'm not going to say that's going to happen, but I'm just saying it's a possibility out there. Because, well, Connor sells fucking tickets, even if he isn't fucking good anymore. I'm of the mindset that I think we're going to see fucking Islam on there in the fucking main event. Now, that begs the fucking question of who is going to be his opponent. I think we see Charlie Olives back in there. because now that his last fight got canceled because of the cut, that's the fucking fight to make for 300 right there. Get that rematch in there. Fucking see if it was just Islam fucking getting lucky or if Charlie Alias really deserves that strap back. I gotta think it's gotta be that because I don't think Jones is gonna be ready with his fucking torn pec. That shit's just not gonna heal fast enough because surgery 6-8 months and anything that tears off the bone takes a long fucking time to heal and rehab correctly. That is unless you're fucking Aaron Rodgers for some odd reason. You're tearing ACL, but this is MMA. You're not into something where they can put you in a fucking boot that keep you from straining something. So I'm of that mindset, or the other possibility, Alex Pereira and Jamal Hill. That would be my other fucking one. But I think if I'm gonna lean, because you've got the current number one pound for pound fighter in Islam Makhachev, he's got to be the main event for fucking 300, period. And I think it will be Charlie Olives there.
Interesting. I'd fucking watch it. I'd watch it for damn sure. I'll watch it. They made that fucking fight happen tomorrow in a parking lot. Shit. No, I would definitely be down, and that would absolutely bring in a shit ton of eyes, especially considering how big the hype was before the last one, and then Charlie having to pull out because of the eye last minute. Yeah, that could be absolutely crazy for sure. So that brings us across the octagon to you, sir. Question to you, Christian. Who main events UFC 300?
All right, so I'll touch on a couple of the pieces that Golf T gave before I give my final answer. The Connor thing. Definitely feel like it could be a possibility, but I don't think the full 6 months would be up after he just got himself in the drug testing, with it being in April. I also feel like we would have heard that kind of an announcement, and then them pushing Chandler still being the opponent. I don't necessarily think that fight's big enough. More like if they could somehow squeeze Nate Diaz to come back and take a bunch of money to take the trilogy fight, maybe I could see them doing that for a main event. But that's really left out of left field kind of idea, probably extremely unlikely, right? Like the idea that he threw out with the light heavyweight fight, Pereira versus Jamal Hill. I was thinking about that myself, but in all honesty, it's like what he just mentioned to Aaron Rodgers. MMA is not football. You don't get to put on any kind of shoes. It's going to be really tough for him to come back from an ACL, just like you said about Jones. And I don't freaking know if April he's going to be quite ready. You got to be solid to take on Pereira or Yuri Prohashka. You don't want to go in there fucking half-assing it if you really want to try to get that belt back. So I just don't fully feel confident in that one. So he touched on Islam. You think about all of them, right? There's not a lot of ladies divisions, unless Valentina and you know Melissa Grasso, Alexa Grasso,
Yeah, Alexa Grasso.
unless they're healthy. But I don't think that's worthy of a main event of that huge card either. Like, even though Valentina is who she is, so it's like none of the ladies really stack up to me. It's got to be the lightweight, right? Islam's got the belt. So what fight is it? It can't be Charlie Alice. That ain't exciting. I don't want to see that again. I don't think anybody really wants to see that again. Islam don't want that again. He came out the other week and said it. I don't want no damn rematch. I want somebody new. Who's the baddest motherfucker? I'm talking Justin Gaethje. Give that man a motherfucking shot. Who really deserves it? Yeah, at the end of the day, there's two men: Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje. But I feel like Gaethje kind of proved he deserves it more because they just fucking fought each other, right? To the baddest motherfucker title. They put a damn title on it and everything. What the fuck was any of that for if you're not going to fucking put one of them next in for the title? And in all honesty, if you're going to put a title fight in for the main event, because I just don't think the Connor sneak in thing's going to work because the timing, Jamal with the injury, it's just, this is the thing that makes the most goddamn sense to me. It'd be the most entertaining and exciting fight we could potentially get. I would much rather see Gaethje get a shot, have somebody new against Islam than see the damn rematch, because I feel like Islam would still just run through Charles, even though Charles is fucking well rounded as hell. That's my final guess. Fucking
Interesting.
Islam and Gaethje main event in 300.
Interesting indeed, sir. So I will say, I would watch either fucking fight. If
Yeah.
they want to run Charlie Olives and Islam, I will watch that motherfucker tomorrow. If they want to let fucking Gaethje step in and try and unify the fucking strap, I will absolutely watch that as well. The one thing that I will say is that there is historical precedent here for Gaethje over Charlie, because they did the exact same thing at welterweight when the BMF belt was originally put on the line. Once Jorge got that, his next fight was for the fucking regular strap. So it would make sense if they let Gaethje win it and then turn around and his next fight is for that strap, especially considering he's already said if he needs to sit out, he'll sit out. Islam has already said he's not interested in the rematch. He wants Gaethje next. That would abso-fucking-lutely sell at 300 and help just build that genuine pound for pound legacy that Islam is trying to get, and give Gaethje potentially his last shot at the real strap. So I do agree. Charlie Oliver versus Islam would be a great fucking fight, but we're going round 5 for slow bake. I want to see Justin Gaethje get his final shot at the belt, because I think win, lose, or draw, even if Charlie fights Islam and loses him again, I think he can be the Max Holloway of light heavyweight, or of lightweight rather, and he can get his way right back to a third fucking title shot if need be. Whereas Gaethje, we all know if Gaethje gets laid the fuck out in that fight, like he has in a couple of other previous fights, he's hanging him up. That's it. He's gonna fucking call it a day. He's gonna give Trevor Whitman his gloves and then walk and be done.
Yeah,
I think,
that's the whole reason I threw that out there, man. And they could sell it
yep,
like a champ fight, you know. It's like not like an
absolutely,
interim belt. They've always
yep,
praised the baddest motherfucker belt up a little higher, even though fans don't really see it higher. It's
right.
good
No,
shit.
absolutely, I agree. Well played by both of you, but the victory in this round goes to Christian. Congratulations, sir.
Shouldn't have picked
That being
Covington.
said,
God damn it.
well played by both of you, even if TJ had to say nice things about Colby, and I'll laugh at that for a long time afterwards.
That hurt
Well
so
played by
bad
both
because
of you.
I knew he wasn't gonna do it, so somebody had to.
That's what I said. I commend you for saying those words, and I will laugh profusely when I go back and rewatch them later. I know, but well done by
Yeah.
both of you,
I
gentlemen.
am telling you, as soon as we're off the air, I'm going to brush my teeth.
I don't blame you.
Tastes like shit in here.
But that being said, that is all we've got for this particular episode. So if you like what we get up to around here, please make sure you give us a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe and your notifications are turned on, whatever platform you are subscribing to this on. We appreciate that. On the other side of that coin, if you don't like this podcast and what we get up to around here, first and foremost, what the fuck are you still doing this deep into a show you didn't enjoy? Just give us a thumbs down and go fuck yourself. We won't even dispute it. But that being said, when we wrap things up here at the end of the show, that's not the end of how things go. Normally it's on Thursday night, so it makes a little more sense. But because it's Friday night, I can tell you retroactively that you can go back in time through Spotify and catch this morning's podcast that we would have normally been talking about for tomorrow, because it's today. Slow Bake and Contemplate podcast. That gentleman right there and his other half over on Spreaker.com/Slow Bake and Contemplate. Links for that podcast, their social medias, and their words, their channel on the I'm No Joe Discord server. See, it's harder live. Yeah.
Appreciate you, brother. Definitely had a lot of fun this morning talking a lot of shit about Colby Covington's bitch ass. Really fucking hope that motherfucker gets knocked out. Love to see Patty Pimblett get knocked out too. I mean, the fact, even if it's just cardio, it's really just the spirit aspect. Hopefully, it pulled some dog back out of Tony just working with an ex Navy SEAL, man. You know, would love to see him go cut that kid the fuck up. I'm excited as hell for this weekend. Fucking can't be, just excited about this weekend though. Shit don't fucking stop. You gotta be excited for next fucking Wednesday, and every fucking Wednesday, head over to the Brother Golf T Vape's fucking channel. Catch the Foggy Fairway around 9:30 every fucking Wednesday night. Learn some motherfucking tips and tricks about the vape aspect of the world. Learn some new recipes and fucking mixes, and just chill and vibe. Tune in and show the brother some fucking love every week on Wednesday night.
Hey, sir. Again, my mouth tastes like shit, but you know, that is what it is. Sometimes you got to do things you don't want to because you know nobody else will. It's what you call leading from the front. Now, if you weren't aware, Mita does more than one thing. In fact, he does many things outside of I'm No Joe. So you go down below, there's a link, which is linktree / the Meter Does Many Things. Or you can also use linktree / I'm No Joe, which will take you to all of those many things that the meter does do, if that makes sense to you. Go click those links. Enjoy your time away until we see you again in the new year.
Thank you very much, sir. With the exception of our best of 2023 next week sometime. We'll work out the details between now and then. But we'll be back for an end of year show, wrapping it up this week. That being said, that is all we've got for this particular episode. Whether you stuck it out through us, words live. Whether you stuck it out with us live on youtube.com/I'm No Joe, or you're listening to this a week later on anchor.fm/I'm No Joe, to your podcast consumption platform of choice, we appreciate you just the same. So that is all we've got for this particular episode. Remember, boys and girls, don't let ignorance stop you. You can root for anything. Unless it's Colby, then it's going to leave that shit taste in your mouth like he's got.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening.
How do I say goodbye to what we had? The good times.